My name's Dan Wynn. I've been investing for, I don't know, I guess since college. I've been involved in real estate, doing a lot of flips, things like that. Since, during my military career, I've bought, held, sold, renovated several single family and multifamily homes across the Southeast. And that's pretty much me. So what I'm here to talk about is the VA loan, the FHA loan, and how to invest through those loan products, right? All right, so we got, what I'm gonna cover is, one, why this is important. Two, I'm gonna go over a couple of the high points of the VA loan and the FHA loan, some of these things that you need to know while you're utilizing these loan products as far as using them for an investment. Yes, the VA loan and the FHA loan was not meant to be used for a true investment, i.e. like, a commercial property and things like that. However, no one says your primary residence can't also be an investment. So when I say use VA loan and use FHA loan as an to help you purchase investment properties, this is what I mean by that. All right. So I'm going to hit on a couple of highlights, the VA and the FHA loan. I'm going to hit on the advantages to real estate. I'm going to kind of go over some of those advantages in real estate. I'm going to go over military investing strategies. So some strategies that you can use as a veteran or you can use as a service member to maximize these loan products that are available to us. And then lastly, I'm going to go over the example deal. Hopefully you guys can make out my sweet little drawing here. It's supposed to be fire because it's a fire deal. You know what I mean? So life is about finding your passion, right? Finding what is most important to you, fulfilling your purpose, your individual purpose. Sometimes that purpose might not make that much money, right? So what real estate allows you to do, what passive income allows you to do, is to go out and find that purpose, to go out and fulfill your purpose without having to, and enjoy life without having to depend on a 9-to-5 job, right? So this is all about autonomy over life and fulfilling your purpose. And then also it's about legacy wealth, right? So I'm sure most of you listening out there have family members, have kids, right? So this is about helping them and leaving a legacy behind after you leave to enable them that same thing, those same freedoms that you want, right? The ability to have autonomy over their life, find their true passion, and fulfill their purpose, right? So that's why, in my opinion, that's why this is important. The VA loan, some of the highlights that you need to know about this as far as using this as an investment tool, right? So number one, the VA loan, you don't have to put anything down. That's what everybody pretty much knows. You don't have to put any money down for the VA loan in order to actually use the VA loan. However, there are funding fees that's associated with it if you put zero money down, right? Essentially, the first time that you use it, it's 2.3%. That funding fee, and all that is it's a fee that it's 2.3% of the total loan value. So if you have $100,000, it's $2,300, right? That you'd have to put down, or you'd have to put towards that funding fee. Now that can be rolled up into the overall loan itself, right? So 2.3 for the first time use. Any subsequent use after that is 3.6%. And that's going to basically, what I just said there kind of hits on both topics. So the first thing is 0% down. Can't spell zero. All right, 0% down, and then you can use it multiple times. So that says multiple use there, but you guys kind of hear me what I'm saying. So hopefully it makes sense, right? So number one is you don't have to put anything down on a VA loan, and you can use it multiple times. Obviously, as you use it multiple times and you know that you're not putting anything down, understand that there is a funding fee that's associated with it that you can tack on to the overall purchase price of the loan, excuse me. So that's that. Number three, all right, you can whenever you can use it multiple times, zero, no cap. So as of 2020, some of you guys may have gotten to Military Cash Flow, the group, through I made a pretty long video. Well, it's like 18 minutes, but it was a pretty popular video. Got like 25,000 views or something like that on YouTube. But I talk about the VA loan. I made that a couple years ago. And at that time there were loan limits, but now in 2020 there are no more loan limits, right? So there are no longer any loan caps, so you can purchase $1 million home if you're approved for it you can buy a $1 million home or $1 million asset with your VA loan. Again, if you're approved for it, right? So there's no more, so there's zero cap, no more cap, no more loan cap. I'm just going to put no loan cap. It's no longer a loan cap. All right, the next thing is you have to use this as a primary residence, right? So if you're using the VA loan, you must intend to live in the unit for at least 1 year. Again, you must intend to live in the unit for at least 1 year. That's pretty much the stipulation. And I'm going to give you the resource for all this. If you guys want to fact check me, or you guys want to do some digging through the pamphlet yourself, then by all means do that. I'm also going to give you the number to the VA hotline. I mean, that way you guys can call and ask questions. I used to blow their phone up the first time I bought, the first couple times I was buying homes using the VA loan, right? So no loan cap, right? The next one we got, you can use this for rehab, right? So they have this VA renovation loan, right? So you can purchase a dilapidated home. You'll get approved for the loan, right? Your lender will purchase the home, and then also purchase or fund the renovation of the home as well. And again, that's all using zero down, right? So we got can use for reno. All right, so that says can use for reno. I know, like I said, I got like kindergarten handwriting, but so we got zero down, we got multiple use. You can use it multiple times. Contrary to belief, I've used a VA loan multiple times. There's no loan cap. There is, and you can use it for a renovation. The next thing is you don't have to use any mortgage insurance. So with the VA loan, because they back I think 25% of whatever the loan amount is, the VA does at least. There is no mortgage insurance, right? So no mortgage insurance. That's a huge value. And we're going to see as we switch over to FHA side, that's not the case. The last thing there is, which is the most exciting thing, and the most thing is the thing that a lot of people don't really know, is that you can use this for any residential home, right? A residential home by definition is anything under 4 units and under. Therefore, you can buy a duplex, you can buy a triplex, you can buy a quadplex using your VA loan, right? So that's major. So this is why I talk about, like, I'm going to get more into it, but this is why I say, using this as an investment, right? So you can use your VA loan, you can buy a quadplex, 4-unit home, right? I'm just going to put duplex. I'm just going to put can biplex. I'm just going to put biplex. Whether that be a duplex, triplex, quadplex, biplex, right? So those are quick six highlights of the VA loan. And all I'm going to do is kind of transfer them over to the FHA side and kind of say whether you can or can't do it. It's going to save a little time. So I might not write here, but just know that's the reason why I'm doing that. All right. So the FHA loan, all right, you're required to put 3.5% down, at least 3.5% down, right? That's what the FHA, and that's one of the difference. VA 0% down, FHA 3.5, right? Which is still awesome, which is, that's not much money when you consider how the large, like traditional loans, at least, usually they want 20% down. Like conventional loans typically want like 20% down. So with the FHA loan, it's 3.5% down. I mean, that's awesome leverage right there, right? So we got that. You can also use the FHA loan multiple times. I'm just going to write a check, meaning you can use it multiple times, right? The only difference with the FHA, as far as using it multiple times, is typically they're a little bit more. I don't want to say stringent, but like, so the VA loan, it's known that military service members are going to PCS pretty much every 3 to 4 years. The FHA loan, sometimes that's not the case, right? So you have to move outside 100 miles of your primary residence. You can also be approved for another FHA loan if you like dramatically increase your family size, or like your situation changes. Essentially, you guys can look it up in the FHA handbook. Just go to hud.gov, HUD.gov, and you guys can check that out, and it'll tell you the stipulations in which you can use multiple FHA loans, right? All right, so that's that. The C for the FHA, as far as loan caps, right? The loan caps are based on whatever county you're in. So, for example, Orange County, California, you're probably going to have a way higher loan cap than, I don't know, Savannah, Georgia, right? So I know the loan cap goes from 331,000 to 765,000, right? So that's the extent of the loan cap based on what county you're in the United States, right? So loan cap, I'm just going to put anywhere between 331 to 765, and that's based on county. Can't write that there because I'd be messing up my sweet little flames. So just know 331K is 765K based on the county where you're at, right? All right. D for can use for renovation. The FHA has a 203K loan, which is basically the same exact loan product as the VA renovation loan. So I mean, you can still buy the dilapidated home, right? Or the busted down, the ugly home. You can buy that ugly home, get it renovated, and it can all roll under one loan, right? So yes, the FHA offers that as well. What the FHA does, if you put less than 10% down, right? If you put less than 10% down on the FHA, you must pay mortgage insurance, and that mortgage insurance is going to last for the life of the loan, right? So that can be a pretty expensive cost, right? Especially when you're considering the life of the loan, and if you're buying this if you're buying this using it as an investment in mind, right? So you got to pay mortgage insurance here with the FHA loan if less than 10% down, right? All right, cool. All right, and the FHA, you can also buy up to 4 units, right? Same thing. You can buy duplex, triplex, or quadplex. So you can buy a plex. Check. Boom. So those are some quick highlights. Let me give you the resources for the VA loan and the FHA loan. So if you want to look up more about the VA loan, like the specifics on, I can give a whole class on what it takes to be eligible, like all this other stuff, but that would take forever, right? So what I'm going to do is leave you with the VA pamphlet 26-7, right? VA pamphlet 26-7. If you look that up, that has all the rules and regulations. It outlines everything with the VA loan. Most people have not even heard of that and don't know where to look at this stuff. So they see the stuff that I'm talking about. I tell people I bought a 4-unit with a VA loan. They're like, no, you can't do that. I tell people, I've had several VA loans at the same time. They're like, no, you can't do that, dude. Read the pamphlet or do like I did and blow up the VA hotline, right? That number is 877-827 3702. They're open from 8 to 6 p.m. Again, I'll say that again. It's 877-827-3702. If you call it like in the morning, usually you can get somebody pretty quick and you don't have to wait forever. Right? If you call during lunch, you typically have to wait for a while. But nevertheless, like if you have a question, those are the de facto people to get the answers from. Don't go to the barracks lawyers, bro. Like that's not going to help you. They're not going to give you the right answers. They're just kind of working off of hearsay. Even a lot of realtors, believe it or not, a lot of realtors have no idea what they're talking about with this loan product, right? So get the answers from the source, right? Again, VA pamphlet 26-7. You can go to benefits.va.gov/home loans, or you can call the number 877-827-3702 and find out what you need to find out. You can fact check me, do whatever you need to do, but hopefully that'll give you some peace of mind. All right, as far as the FHA side, I think I already gave the number out, but just Google FHA handbook. You'll find that. You can go to HUD.gov. You'll find there, or you can dial 202-708-1112. So the VA has its minimum lending requirements, right, to get approved for the loan. I want to say it's like, I'm not 100% sure right off the top of my head, but I know it's pretty low. I think it's like a 580 is what you need for a credit score. However, you still have to get approved from an actual lender. You still have to go through a Bank of America or go through a Wells Fargo or go through one of these big banks that might have additional lending criteria. So if in that situation, which you're outlining, I can guarantee you that whatever bank you went to, that was their lending criteria. So maybe you had a high debt to income ratio or something like that, and they wanted to make sure that, you know, that their loan was going to be secure. Their loan was going to be secure, whatever they lent you, right? So another quick note there, when it comes to that, don't just go to one lender. Don't take an answer from one lender. Go to as many lenders as you can. If you do it within, I want to say, a 3-week period, then it only counts as one hard inquiry to your account or to your credit. So it doesn't negatively affect your credit score, you know, too bad. It only counts as one hard inquiry, right? Look it up. I want to say it's 3 weeks. It might be 4 weeks, but just look it up either way. But never, ever just go to one person, one lender, and ask that question. All right. So really quick, again, you can use the VA loan multiple times. You don't have to get out of the VA loan to use it again. Again, 2020, there's no loan caps, right? So you don't necessarily have to worry too much about that. Now, if it's just something that you want to do, then, you know, it's something, you know, that's something that you want to do. But there's nothing saying that you cannot get multiple VA loans. In fact, it says that you can get multiple VA loans, right? So I hope that answers your question. If you do want to get out of the VA loan, I mean, refinancing, you can go and just talk to different banks and see what they're going to charge. Obviously, typically it's not advantageous to you to refinance, especially after like 2 or 3 years, unless there's some huge change in the market, like what happened about a month or two ago when interest rates were like down to almost 2%. Then it might be advantageous for you to change over. But usually, if you just bought a home, it's usually not advantageous to refinance so quickly, just because you likely don't have any equity in the home, or in, you know, bottom line, that's usually it. You don't really have much equity in the home at that point. So you're going to get hit with lending fees. You're going to get hit with all these other underwriting fees and sometimes junk fees that you're going to have to tack on to your new mortgage, effectively paying more than what you did before. So typically, in most situations, that's usually not the case. It's usually not best practice to refinance after like 2 years. Again, unless something dramatically changed, like what happened about a month and a half, 2 months ago, when interest rates dropped significantly. Getting into the advantages to real estate investing. This is the fun part, right? This is where you figure out, when we put all these together, we start talking like real wealth. And when I hit this example, you're going to see how all this compiles together and how you can expeditiously or exponentially increase your wealth in a very, very short amount of time, right? So advantages to real estate. The first advantage to real estate is leverage. And we talked about that, right? So we got leverage with the VA loan. You're putting 0% down. Leverage means you're leveraging someone else's money, or you're putting down very, very little to control something very, very big. You know what I mean? Kind of like the fulcrum pull or whatever the hell that's called. You guys know what I'm talking about. You put, something, you can move something with a stick. I think it's like the fulcrum effect or something like that. But yeah, so that's what leverage is. So in the case of the VA, you're putting 0% down to control, let's say the house that you're buying is $250,000. You're putting 0% down to control a $250,000 asset. If you really just sit and think about that for a second, that is absolutely crazy. There's no other asset class that you can put nothing down and control such a large portion like that, right? That's why I love real estate. All right, so leverage, number one, in the FHA, again, 3.5% down. You're putting 3.5% down and you're controlling an asset, using the last example, that's $250,000. That's crazy, right? All right, so leverage, number one of the advantages of real estate. Number two is appreciation. Hopefully you guys can read that. All right. Number two is appreciation. There's two types of appreciation. There's market appreciation, right? And then there's forced appreciation. Market appreciation is appreciation that happens over time where you didn't do anything to affect, right? Like it naturally happens with inflation and just external situations, like something that you didn't do, i.e., you buy a home and after 15 years, that $100,000 home is now worth $120,000. You didn't make any renovations to it. You didn't do anything to it. You know what I mean? Like just the community itself built, or the community itself, like stuff grew around it, stuff that had nothing to do with you, but your home appreciated in value. So that's market appreciation. And then we have forced appreciation. And forced appreciation is when you actually do something to the home to make it appreciate in value, right? So what that means is, you buy a dilapidated home and you fix the bathrooms, you fix the kitchen, you fix the roof, you fix all this stuff. You are doing stuff to the home, right? You are forcing appreciation into that asset. That is forced appreciation, right? All right. So we got appreciation, force, and market appreciation. Number 3, we have debt pay down. This is one of my favorite things because if you're using this as a rental property, right, you are having someone else literally pay down the debt of the home, pay down your mortgage, right? So they're literally paying your mortgage off for you. That's pretty much, they're basically putting money into your pocket month over month over month over month, not just the cash flow, which I'm going to get into, but they're putting money in your pocket month over month over month over month, like towards the debt on that asset. I don't know. I love debt pay down, right? I'm just going to put debt pay D, right? So that's debt pay down. What the heck? 1, 2, 3. All right. So that was over there. All right. So number 4, we have, you have cash flow or passive income, right? I'm just going to put cash flow. Cash flow. I need it on time. I'm talking bank rules. I got shout out to Ace Hood. All right. So we got cash flow there. Number 4. And it is what it is. I mean, that's why we named the channel Military Cash Flow. That's why we named the podcast Military Cash Flow. Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. That's what the YouTube channel is about. Cash flow. Shameless plug really quick. If you guys check out the podcast, we interview awesome military service members who are also investors. They're very, very successful individuals. They own businesses and things like that. Some of them are active, some of them are out. So check out the podcast, check out the YouTube channels. Same thing. Me and Mike, my buddy Mike Glassby, he's my partner. He gives some dope classes on different things involving real estate, right? We go over our own actual deals. I've gone over my actual deals and given you the numbers on how I did this stuff, right? So you can check that out. Just go to youtube.com/military cash flow, or just type in military cash flow and you'll see our stuff. All right. So cash flow, boom. Number 4. Then we got number 5 is taxes. All right. Now let me say this. I am not an accountant. I am not a CPA or anything like that, right? But what I will say is I have an accountant, right? His name is Nick Aola. Actually, he was actually on the podcast. I don't know what episode. I want to say in the mid-20s or something like that. But yeah, so he saves me a lot of money just through real estate, right? So let me give you an example. I have a company. It's called Wynn Investment Team, right? And we have assets in that company, and all of the expenses that we incur in relation to the property, right, by taking care of the property, all that gets deducted from my income. Therefore lowering my tax liability, right? So you hear about all these people, all these like multimillionaires, right? These people like Jeff Bezos, these people like Donald Trump, these people like freaking even what's his name, Feel the Burn, Bernie Sanders, like all these people who aren't paying anything in taxes, these corporations that aren't paying anything in taxes. That is the reason why, is because they have assets that they are getting expenses deducted from. They're living through their assets, right? What I mean by that is, so when I renovate a home, right, and it costs, let's say $50,000 to renovate, most of those that expense that I'm paying out money for to get fixed for my asset that's going to increase in value, right, that I'm forcing appreciation into, most of those expenses are going to get deducted from my rental income, right? So it's just like if you sit down and think about that for a second, it's freaking phenomenal. The tax code is written for people to create and add value to more than just themselves, i.e. if you have a business that you're helping and servicing other people, or if you have rental property that people are living in, things like that. That's what the tax code is so advantageous for us, right? So taxes, that's what I'm going to say about that. If you want to hear more about taxes, and how it can save you money, then go to that episode. As Nick Aola, he's my accountant. He's a great dude. He lives in New York City. He's specialized in real estate. Yeah, go to that episode, that podcast episode of that YouTube channel. You can check that out. We talk all about it, man. Tell you a quick story really quick, everybody. And my wife can confirm this. So when I bought my very first, this is while I was at Fort Stewart, like back in 2016, I bought my first 4-unit, right? My very first 4-unit. And it's in like, I still own it. It's in like Columbus, Georgia, right? I took off work one day to go see it. And like, I knew I was going to buy it because it was like a really, really cheap price. I did a video on this as well. If you guys want to check it out, I want to say it's like how I make 12,000 passive or something like that. But go check it out on YouTube. Literally it's a 4-hour drive from Fort Stewart to Fort Benning to Columbus, right? Literally the entire way down from there, from Fort Stewart all the way to Columbus, I played that song on repeat the entire time. I don't know, it just had me pumped up, man. I don't know what it is about that song, but I was like super pumped. Cash flow, Ace Hood. All right, so let's go into the military investing strategies. All right, so a couple of the main military investing strategies, and you got a bunch of different strategies to invest in real estate, right? There's a plethora of them, right? But I'm going to hit on 3 major ones that I think are more advantageous for us as service members, right? Knowing that we move all the time and knowing that we do what we do, right? So number 1 is the live and flip. I'm just going to put LI flip. Number 1 is the live and flip. And what the live and flip is exactly what it sounds like. Let's say, I'm gonna give you an example. I actually did this with my very, very first home that I bought was a live and flip. And, you know, my wife and I actually made a video on this as well, YouTube. If you want to go check it out, we actually show you exactly what we did to renovate that single family home, exactly how we did it. We showed you the before and after and all that stuff. And I think I do a video going over the numbers and stuff like that too. I'm not 100% sure if I did that one or not, but go check out the YouTube channel. It's one of the older videos. I think it says first live and flip or something like that. Has a picture of me and my beautiful wife on there. So feel free to go check that out. But anyways, live and flip. You buy a home that you know that you can make some upgrades to, right? You know that you can make upgrades to it and essentially increase the value of the home. So you buy the home, you buy the ugly house in the neighborhood, you fix the ugly house up, and then you continue to live in it, right? And then when you go to sell, now you know that you have forced appreciation into the asset. On top of that, there's probably going to be a little bit of market appreciation there as well. So you just kind of hopefully, if you did your due diligence right and you did your analysis right, then hopefully you'll make money on the back end. And I kind of talk about that in a few different videos that we have on the Military Cash Flow YouTube page as well. So you got the live and flip right there. All right, that's that. Then we got the number 2 is a single family rental. The single family rental, right? SFR, single family rental, right? And I think that's what most people are most familiar with, right? Is the single family rental, because typically we'll buy, typically most people either don't know that you can purchase a plex with a VA loan, and then 2, some people have larger families and they may not want to have, a neighbor or anything like that, right? So they might just want that single family home. Nothing's wrong with that. All right. So, but what I will say about the single family home is I don't want you to become an accidental landlord. And I see so much of that. And it sucks, man. It really sucks. Let me give you an example of an accidental landlord. An accidental landlord goes out and they find a property, or they get married or whatever. They find a property that's beautiful, and this is their very first home. They know they're going to be in a duty station for only 3 years, and they buy based on emotion. They buy sometimes, just trying to keep up with the Joneses, kind of looking for that IG pic. You know what I mean? Hey, look at my sweet home. Got the granite, got all this stuff. Everything's decked out, and they spend to the max of their limit, right? They know, all right, my BH is $1,200. That means I can buy a $1,200 home. I can afford a $1,200 mortgage, or maybe I can afford a $1,300 mortgage or something like that. I mean, my BH is covering it, right? So, and then what they do is they buy this home. Let's say it's $250,000, right? Buy this $250,000 home in a great neighborhood, sweet, everything's looking nice, right? And then freaking 3 years goes by, and it's like, damn, dude, now now I got to do something with this home. Either I can sell it or I can rent it. First thing comes to mind is, all right, I'm going to automatically rent it, man, because I'm going to make so much money. I'm going to cash flow all this money. It's going to be great. But what typically you don't think about, especially if you're kind of new to this, right, is that $250,000, your mortgage is going to probably be about $1,500 or something like that, right? And what you don't know is that you're only, the rent in that market only goes for $1,600. So you can only get $1,600. That's what the area demands in rent. So you can get $1,600 in rent, but your mortgage is $1,500. So you're thinking, hell yeah, man, I'm cash flowing $100 a month. No, you're not cash flowing $100 a month, because one, either you're going to have to spend so much time being a property manager, right? Or you're going to have to hire a property manager. Property manager typically takes 10% of whatever the rental income is on a rental property, right? So, that's $160 minus 1,600, right, off rip. So you're already in a negative, right? Oh, by the way, when a tenant turns over after maybe a year or two, well, your home may be vacant for a month, maybe even 2 months. Well, shit, man, now I'm out of pocket $3,000, So that's that. And then, oh, by the way, man, when they left, man, they left my place looking like crap. My rental deposit was $1,200, but they messed up more than $1,200 worth of stuff, right? So, all right, now I'm out of pocket for that. All right, well, every other month, they put too much toilet paper in the freaking toilet, and now I got to call a plumber out there all the time. Well, shoot, now you're out. So you're just bleeding. You're slowly bleeding from this property. That is an example of an accidental landlord. You did not do your due diligence beforehand to make sure that you're going to cash flow on the back end, right? That is an accidental landlord. And that's what I don't want to happen to you. And I'm sure, shoot me a comment down below if that's happened to you before, right? And your realtor might have been kind of pushing you on, kind of goading you on, like, yeah, man, you should be a rental property owner. You're going to make all this money, turn this into a rental. Well, no, man, like, they have no idea, because they don't even own rental properties themselves. They have no idea what they're talking about, So, all right, that's all I'm going to say about that. Obviously, you can tell I'm pretty passionate about that, because I see a lot of service members fall into that exact same situation, and I hate it. All right, so don't be an accidental landlord. Make sure you do your due diligence on the front end. If you're going to buy a house, make sure you do something to where you can force some appreciation into. Don't buy the freaking nicest house in the world knowing that you're only going to live there for 3 years. Doesn't make sense, right? Don't do it for the IG likes, man. Do it for legacy, right? So we got single family rental. The last one we got here is multifamily rental. All right, so the multifamily rental, this is my favorite. This is the strategy that I pretty much use from now on. The place that I'm living in right now, we live in a house. I follow more the Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone. If you don't know who they are, look them up. Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone. I follow more of their mindset than people like Dave Ramsey or Suze Orman or something like that. And their philosophy is buy where you want to rent and rent where you want to live. So I rent where I want to live, because it gives me the flexibility to move whenever I want to, not having to worry about being an accidental landlord, right? My wife and my family, we like living in a single family home, but we don't like owning single family homes for all the reasons I just kind of outlined there before. All right, so we buy multifamilies, you know what I mean? We don't like to buy single families. The only single family we're going to buy likely is if we're going to, we're retiring, we're getting done. We know we're staying there forever. So that's my philosophy. I'm not saying that's the best, that's the best philosophy around. You got to find what works for you, your goals and your strategies, right? So I'm going to leave that there. But multifamily, right? Knowing that you can buy a plex, you can buy a 4-unit home, you can live in one, and you can rent the others out. I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, so those are the 3 investing strategies that I think are best suited for military service members. Really quick, I'm going to pause really quick before I go into this example. If you guys can do me a favor, if you're getting value out of this, information, please share this live on your page, man, because what's going to happen is it's going to stay on your page and other people can get this information. This isn't about, like, the whole reason why myself and Gabe and myself and Mike and all these other veterans have gotten together to put this community together to build this platform. This isn't about just us, right? Like, this is about literally improving our community, improving those people around us. You know, this is something that I absolutely love doing. You know, I go around and I teach this stuff to service members. I've taught it to my soldiers. I've literally helped two of my soldiers at my last unit get duplexes. It's freaking awesome, man. Like, you teach this stuff and then they start implementing it. You help analyze deals and stuff. I mean, there's no better feeling than that, dude. Like, there's no better feeling than that. So I say all that stuff to say, please share this to your page. I would really, really appreciate it. We would love to have more service members in the group, learning and executing these strategies. And we just want to help some people out, right? And then lastly, what I'm going to ask from you is, if you could, if you're already in the group, please invite other service members to the group that you think would learn from this information, or could gain value from this information. We would really appreciate that. So I'm gonna leave that there. All right, cool. So we buy a house for $250,000, 250K. This is the setup to the example. The interest rate's at 3.9%, and the property taxes is $2,500 a year, and the insurance is $1,000 a year. All right, so this is the example, right? So using this information, we're gonna find so this is an actual deal that I just found online. This is an actual fourplex that I found in Jacksonville, that I almost bought. Actually, I went and saw. I couldn't get things to work with the actual seller, so it just kind of fell through. But this is an actual deal. There's actual rates, all this stuff that I'm giving you here. So $250,000, 3.9% interest rate. The property tax for $2,500 a year, insurance $1,000 a year. So my principal, interest, taxes, and insurance is $1,500 a month. Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, my pity is $1,500 a month. All right. My expenses include property management, because I like to keep things as passive as possible. I tried being a property manager one time and I failed miserably. So I've learned my lesson, and from now on, I just pay, property managers for their time. So I don't have to answer calls in the middle of the night. So I don't have to do all that crap, talk to different tenants. None of my tenants know who I am. They don't know that I own the property. Even if I live in one of my units, they still don't know who I am. I'm just a regular dude. And that's the way I like to keep it. So my expenses include property management. When you have a 4-unit, when you have multiple units, typically you can negotiate the property management fee. So typically you can negotiate the property management fee. So I'm just going to say 7%. I have a couple of multifamilies that's I'm paying 7%, and some that I'm paying 6%. But so 7%, right? Then we got vacancy costs. We talked about that, right? You have, once you turn over a unit, sometimes it takes a month to get a new tenant in, right? So we account 10% for vacancy. If you account 10% for vacancy all the time, after 10 months, you will have 1 year's worth of rental income per that unit, right? All right. So then we count repairs. So regardless of what you do, if you completely renovated the home, might make a if you completely renovated the home, have a brand new home, you still want to account for 5% or so for repair fees. Usually I count 5% for it, right? And what that covers is somebody calls me in the middle of the night saying they put too much crap in the toilet, right? And I have to get a plumber out. That 5% kind of covers me there. All right. And then we got CapEx. And what CapEx is capital expenditures. Those are things that typically last longer than 5 years. So we're talking water heaters, we're talking roofs, we're talking foundation, we're talking fences. You know what I mean? Those are capital expenditures. And typically, because you don't pay anything for those in such a long time, you can usually allocate a smaller percentage to that. Meaning I usually allocate like 3%. Usually, so when I go into a home, I typically renovate the entire home, so I know that I don't have to worry about anything. Everything's usually brand new. That way I can force appreciation into the home. And then also there's tax, there's a bunch of reasons why I do that. But CapEx is 3%. So when you add all that up, right, you add those percentages up, 7% for property managers, 10% for vacancy, 5% for repairs, 3% for CapEx. That gives you a grand total of $518 a month. All right. So both of these added together, all of your expenses, your operating expenses plus your debt service equals $2,018 a month, right? Now, again, we said we have a four unit. This particular 4-unit, and you have to live in 1 unit. So essentially you can only rent out 3 units, right? This particular 4-unit, remember I said this was a real deal. This 4-unit, they were paying $750. They were collecting $750 a rent for all the units, right? Therefore, 750 times 3 is 2250, right? 2250. That's how much you're collecting in rent, right? So your net, your cash flow in this situation, cash flow, I need it on time. All right, so your cash flow in this situation is $232 a month, or $2,784 a year, right? Now that sounds pretty crappy, right? I mean, that, like, when I'm doing all this stuff for $232 a month, dude, that's not really anything. Keep in mind, you're living in a unit for free, and if you're in the military, you get to keep all of your BAH, all of it. You get to keep all of your BAH. That's wild. So we're talking about, I mean, if you're an E5, bro, you're probably at least making $1,000 a month, regardless of where you're at, right? So you're getting to keep $1,000 of all of your BAH, and then on top of that, you're collecting $232 a month, or $2,000 something a year, and that's after you've accounted for all of your expenses. That's after you've accounted for everything. Just sit and think about that for a second. If you could live rent-free, what would that do to your bank account? What would that do to your savings if you did not have to pay rent? Plus, you got an extra $232 a month. Write the comment down below. Write the comment down below how that would change your financial situation if you did not have to pay for freaking to live somewhere. Write a comment down below. All right, so actually really quick. So that's if you're living in the unit. So if you're living in the unit, you're collecting $232 a month, $2,000 something thousand a year, and you're collecting all your BAH. It's crazy, right? If once you move out, right, now you're collecting, so your percentages change a little bit, so your expenses change a little bit. They actually increase because remember, now we have more rental income, so that percentage becomes like higher, right? So now you take all this stuff, your income doesn't, well, so your new income from renting out 4 units, and your new expenses, when I say expenses, I'm including expenses plus debt service. And your debt service is just your mortgage, right? Your debt service is just your pity. All right, so once you move out of it, right, your pity stays the same, $1,500. Your new expenses are $690 a month, right? And your income is $3,000 a month. Expenses plus debt service is $2,190. All right, so your income's $3,000. This is after you move out of it. Your income's $3,000. Your expenses is $2,190, right? So your cash flow, I need it on time. All right, so your cash flow is now $810 a month. And that's $9,720 a year. So almost $10,000 a year. So now you're PCS'd, you don't live there anymore, you're moved out, and you're cash flowing $810 a month, or about $10,000 a year. Just sit and think about that for a second. This is 1 unit. This is 1 deal. 1 deal. How would that change your financial situation? Every single month you collect a check for $810 a month. After like the 3rd month, you forget about them, and then you just see freaking money just like being deposited in your account like freaking fairy godmother or something, like a real estate fairy godmother. It's wild. So the last thing I'm going to do here is give you a handy dandy chart. And what this is going to do is bring everything together. Hopefully you guys can see this. I think you guys can. All right, so on the bottom row, I got time, right? I got 10 years. I got 15 years. and I got 20 years, and I got 30 years all the way down here. All right, on the left side, I have this is all money on this side. It's all price, home prices. All right, so got the home for $250,000. Right? Yeah, I got the home for $250,000. Right? So we know we bought this home for $250,000 with a VA loan. We put nothing down, zero down. Right? Over time, over 30 years, this mortgage, this debt that we owe is going to go down to, let me use different colors here. Hopefully you guys can see this. So over time, your debt is going to go down to zero, right? So you are, after 30 years, if you own this home, you're going to owe no money on this home, right? And we bought this home for $250,000. I'm just going to draw a straight line through, right? So also over time, we talk about appreciation. I'm going to touch on a couple of the advantages while I'm doing this. So we talked about leverage, where we own a $250,000 asset for zero, for nothing. FHA, you own a $250,000 asset for 3.5%, whatever that is. You can add it up, right? So we have a $250,000 asset. We have our tenant paying down our debt our tenants paying down our debt over time, over 30 years. None of that money is coming out of your pocket, right? We got appreciation over time. I'm not even going to count forced appreciation. I'm not even going to talk about the appreciation that you can force into it, because this can be, it can increase the home from $250,000 to $280,000 like pretty easy. But I'm just going to talk about market appreciation. Now, market appreciation, I typically won't factor in. But for this situation, I'm going to factor in, because we're talking about a long length of time. So I'm just going to say, it's increasing by about 2%, 2 to 3% over time, right? And I'm going to say, like, very, very conservatively, right? Over time, let's say over 30 years, it barely increases, and it increases, I don't know, to 300,000. So over 30 years, it increases $50,000 to $300,000. Right, so right here is 300. Right, so and in the midway point at the 15-year mark, it has increased to $260,000. Right, so that's where we're at. We're saying in 15 years, this home only appreciates $10,000 in equity or in market appreciation. I'd say that's very, very, very conservative, right? All right, now let's talk about equity for a second. At the 15-year mark, we also, our tenants have paid down our debt to our principal balance at the 15-year mark. At that interest rate, 3.9% interest, is now at $159,842.22. I'm just going to say $160K. $160K is what we owe on this home after 15 years. Now, if you want to fact check me, just go to Bankrate, go to anywhere, and you can use the same scenario, put it into an amortization schedule, and you'll see exactly how much you're going to owe after 15 years. So after 15 years, I owe $160,000, right? We got, what else? So, and our home is appreciated $260,000. So guess what this is? Between $260,000 and what we owe on the home, between what the home is worth and what we actually owe on the home. That's all equity. That's cash money. We have $100,000 in equity over 15 years, and we didn't do anything to it. And I haven't even talked about cash flow yet, and I'm going to talk about that here in a second. Just in equity alone, one deal that we bought with a 4-unit, right? We made $100,000 in 15 years, and we didn't put any money to it. It's like a free savings account that people were dropping money into it for us. What could you do if, let's say you bought a 4-unit, you just had a kid, and you buy a 4-unit as soon as you have a kid, and you don't do anything to it, right? What could that 100K do for your child? What could that 100K do for you, right? 15 years, one deal, nothing out of pocket. Just think about that. It's crazy. All right, so 100K. in equity. Now let's talk about the cash flow over that 15 years. Let's say you lived in it for 4 years. So 4 years times the 1,000, you cash flowed $11,136. And then for the remaining 11 years, you moved out, you PCS, and you just held on to it. And you were cash flowing that entire time. You were cash flowing $9,700 and something a month. So at the end of 15 years or 11 years worth of cash flow, right? Excuse me. For the other 11 years, you just held on to it, making that amount. And again, rent increases over time. This is not, this isn't I just didn't want to get too crazy into it. Typically, your rent will increase. You guys know this. If you've ever rented something, you can increase the rent over time. So this figure is actually a lot less than what it really is. But 11 years, let's say you don't even change the rent over 11 years. You have the same tenants, or you just literally just don't adjust for rental increase. You will make $106,000, $106,920. You'll make about $107,000, right? So you add that up and you got $118K that you've made in cash flow over 15 years plus $100K in equity. Bro, $118K over 15 years that you've made in cash flow plus $100K in equity. That's absolutely ridiculous. This is wealth on steroids. This is how you create wealth, right? This is one deal, zero money out of pocket. That's absolutely wild, dude. If that doesn't excite you, I don't know. I don't know. That all I had to do was connect these dots one time, and it completely changed my mind. Everything completely changed my mind, and what I wanted to do and where I wanted to park my money. There's no other asset class will do that for you, period. So this is why I love real estate so much, right? All right, so that's that. The last thing I'm going to talk about is, before I get off, is your freedom number, right? And the reason I'm going to talk about your freedom number is because it's when you start this journey, if this is something that you want to do, you like all this, you love how this sounds, and you see how you can create wealth very, very fast over a semi-short period of time. If you stay consistent for 10 years, you get, imagine if you have 5 of these. You only need 5 of these. That's 500K and freaking $500,000, and you're consistently making whatever that is times 5 times. So I mean, you're making $4,000 a month. You're making $4,000 a month passive. That's wild off of 5 deals. But I'm going to talk about your freedom number, because if this is something that you want to do, you need to know, you need to have a goal to work towards, right? And your goal to work towards should be your freedom number. Your freedom number is basically whatever the desired lifestyle that you have, you divide that by however much cash flow you're making per unit, and that will give you your freedom number. And when I say the desired lifestyle, I'm not talking about your expenses now. I'm talking about the lifestyle that you want to live. So if you really think about it, it's very, very easy to attain your freedom number, to basically become financially free through real estate, just by finding your freedom number. Finding your freedom number means, the number you need to become financially free. Sorry if I kind of rambled on there, but so yeah, once you find your freedom number, you have that goal to work towards, then it makes it a lot easier. You know exactly how many units you need to attain your freedom number, how many doors, how many single family units, or how many multifamily homes you need to attain, your freedom number. So let's say my desired lifestyle is, I only need just for ease of numbers, I only need $5,000 a month to live the lifestyle that I want to live, to have autonomy over my life, to not have to work anymore, at least to go find my purpose, to go find whatever my higher calling is, right? I only need $5,000 to do that. That's going to pay for my home. That's going to pay for my kids' school. That's going to pay for everything. $5,000 a month, right? For the freedom number, I'm going to put the F number, right? For your freedom number, the formula equals your desired lifestyle desired LS, right? Divided by the cash flow you need in units. So earlier I was answering one of the questions and I was saying, hey, I don't buy it. I get rid of it if it's not making $250 a month or very, very close to $250 a month. This is the reason why, because if it's not going to cash flow $250 a month for me, it's going to be harder for me to reach my financial freedom goal, right? So we said my desired lifestyle, I need $5,000, and then we divide that by $250. Like my number is $250 a door. Yeah, my number is $250 a door. So I'm just going to divide 5,000 by 250, 20, right? So I need 20. All I need is 20 units to attain my freedom number. So my freedom number is 20 units, right? In this scenario, my freedom number is 20 units. So if I can build to 20 units, which again, I mean, you probably PCS at least, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, probably 5 or 6 times throughout a 20-year career. Imagine if when you did that, you bought a 4 unit at every place that you went to. You would easily reach your freedom number. You would easily have 20 units. So this is 5 quadplexes. That's all that is. This is 10 duplexes. Excuse me, this is 5 quadplexes or 10 duplexes or 20 single family homes if you want to do it that way too. It's once you put it in this perspective, you'll notice that, and you figure out, you plan a way to actually get to that goal, it becomes very, very, very easy, especially if you deliberately do it. So I'm going to share something with you guys really quick for those of you guys who stayed till the end. And if you want this, I can easily get it to you, give you an example. So I carry this around with me all the time. If you know me, if you've been in my unit, if you've been around me before, if you know anything about me, this is my goals list. This literally has everything written down. It's pocket size. It fits in my freaking wallet. It's big as a phone, right? It fits in my wallet. I carry this around with me everywhere. Every morning and every night I read my goals list. It tells me keeps me re-energized, refocused. We did a video about this as well, kind of talked through it as well about how important your goals is. Check out the YouTube channel. You can find some of that stuff. In here, I have the action plan, right? It tells me exactly how many units I need to get when, what I need to do in what year, what the focus is for that year, how I'm going to do it, what my cash flow is going to look like, all these things. Like, it keeps you laser focused. My freedom number is in this book. All this is to get me to my freedom number, So I plan it out and get it towards your freedom number. If you want this, I'll shoot you a copy. Too easy. Just let me know. Write a comment in the group or write a comment down here. I'll give you an example of my goals list. All my soldiers have an example of this. Actually, all my soldiers from my last unit, I had them all make their goals. And it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool to see what their aspirations are and what they actually want in life. So strongly recommend. If you're leading soldiers, man, it's great to teach them. In my opinion, I'm not nobody. I'm not freaking, I'm not no general or nothing like that. But I mean, in my opinion, I think financial literacy is just as important as learning how to shoot a weapon, right? Because half of soldier issues, whether it be from divorce or it be from just regular soldier issues, I would say about 80% of the time stems from financial reasons, stems from some kind of financial issue. Imagine if your soldiers were armed with this information and knew and had a purpose and a goal to work towards. What would that do for your formation? That's my opinion. You guys, you can comment down below and let me know what your opinion is. But I carry this with me all the time. I have my little cutout in it, little book, and I have my timeline on here. Literally, I wake up at night, the night before, I have my checklist. I make my checklist and I make the timeline on the back of it, what I need to do. So I don't know, just free game. If you guys want to find out more cool tips, I mean, if it helps you out, then feel free again to check out the YouTube channel. Share this stuff with some friends, and let's all create wealth together. But essentially, man, that's it. I pretty much gave you a quick class. We have a lot more information. Again, get in the group. If you're in the group, ask questions. We love to help. Myself, Mike, Gabe. We got a gang of great people in this forum that are willing to help you out towards your financial goals, right? We share experiences. I mean, this is literally what this is all about, right? We're here to help each other out. Listen to some of the podcasts and just listen to the passion that some of these guys have. These guys are literally like multi-millionaires, man. Like, we bring these people and to have conversations with them to show them to you, to allow you to listen and tune into how these people are getting to where they're getting to, right? Strongly recommend checking out the podcast, checking out the YouTube, joining the group. If you're looking for, we do have other product. If you go to militarycashflow.com and stuff like that, we have other courses and things like that, step-by-step courses. Those do cost money though, but they're pretty cheap. We try to make them, I don't want to say cheap, they're pretty inexpensive. We try to make them as inexpensive as so anyone can buy them if they'd want to. So feel free to check out any of the stuff we have. Again, we do this all for our community. Most of the information we give out is like straight up free, man. We're all about building wealth and creating cash flow for you guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it.